let me give you a little bit of backstory, because this is based on a spaceship from quite an old British science fiction series from Gerry, who's perhaps better known for things like Thunderbirds and Stingray. But this is one of his live action shows, and the Eagle transporter was used by the crew of Moonbase Alpha to get around between Moonbase Alpha, other sites on the moon's surface, and of course the other planets that it encountered on its journey. Now, its journey started when various nuclear waste dumps on the moon went into a sort of a chain reaction phase and blew up violently. And as a result of these explosions, the moon was hurtled out of Earth's orbit and out into deep space, and it started crossing the paths of various other planets, which it then investigated to see whether or not Operation Exodus could begin in order to evacuate the crew of Moonbase Alpha onto those planets whilst they awaited rescue from Earth at some point in the future. The Eagles were held in underground hangars in Moonbase Alpha. They were quite versatile vehicles. This model that I've come up with is the transporter version of the Eagle. So the pod in the middle section can swap out with other pods, and this one carries passengers, and I've also designed it so that it can carry the classic Space 1999 yellow moon buggy in it as well, so that when it lands you can detach the pod, take off its roof, open the hinged doors, and then bring out the minifigure and the buggy to have various adventures on the moon's surface or on the surface of another planet that the Eagles travel to. One of the other major components, and one of the things that I actually redesigned after I first designed it digitally, is the command module, which is the sort of nose cone section of the Eagle, if you like. And in this version, you'll see from the images on the ideas site that you can actually detach it quite easily, and it's quite well sealed on. One thing that I didn't realise in designing this set, because I started designing it very much in a digital fashion using Studio, is that it's really big. And by big, it's 16 inches long, which for comparison purposes is about the same length as the modern X-Wing fighters that were brought out for the film The Force Awakens, for example. And a minifigure will fit inside it. This is one of the things I was going for with this design, is that whilst it's being played for nostalgia to a certain extent, because people of my age will remember it from their childhoods, but I was also really concerned that younger people today should also get some playability out of it, which meant I felt including minifigures in the design. So there's a minifigure fits into the command module, which detaches, and is almost a mini spaceship in and of itself. And there's also another minifigure then in the classic Space 1999 spacesuit in the pod. So you get two minifigures in this particular version of the set. Basically, you can also make a third version of the Eagle itself, which I've dubbed the Eaglet. And that version is just a little tiny version of it, which is the command module, one of the sections with the thruster pods and the legs, and then the engine assembly at the rear of the Eagle bolted onto that. So just a tiny little craft, but I just got the idea of that after I did the initial idea. So what I've done is re-release the idea in effect, because now you can revise ideas after every 30 days. So I just added that into my images gallery as the little mini build that you could make with the set, with all the same pieces that are available with the original Eagle. And if you leave some comments, obviously I can have a look at those and answer any questions you might have about it. Thank you.